All right, now I'm faced in the opposite direction because I want to show you guys something. So we're just going to show you, a broad spectrum of what's here at the show. Oh, this is the Pontiac row here. A lot of Pontiacs in this row. A lot of Corvettes down that way. But I'm really just wasting time because I want to show you this thing right here. I want to show it to you. When's the last time you seen one of these? Do you see it? Let me just kneel down here and get a real close up on you. Oh, look at that. We start at the right, the left, and then we move over to the right. I'd like to get back further, but these bushes have thorns in them. So, what are you looking at here? You're looking at a 1973 AMC Matador in ellipsis. Because what do you mean? It's a Matador. What's a Matador? This is a Matador. American Motors, 1973. It's got what looks like a 360 V8 in it. Look at the size of this compressor. American Motors was formed by a combination of Nash, Hudson Motor Car, and Kelvinator. So they took pride in offering most of their new cars all with free air conditioning because Kelvinator built refrigerators. So they had all the know-how of refrigeration and climate control. But this here, look. I want to show you something. As you can see, you saw the wood paneling on the side, right? The wood paneling over here. Which means that this Matador is a station wagon. Ha-ha! Right? When was the last time you seen a Matador that was a station wagon? You haven't seen a Matador wagon in years. All right, the last Matador wagon was in 1978, and let's be honest, you haven't seen one since 1981. All right? But before I continue with the rest of the car, as you can tell, this wood work. It's not really wood. It's just applique like a book cover or wallpaper. It's not in great shape, but it doesn't matter because the car altogether is in pretty good shape for a 51-year-old car. This is a 1973, of course. American Motors vehicles were unibody, similar to the Chrysler B-body. So this is your strut tower right here. I don't know if this thing has ball joints because some of them didn't have ball joints. They used trunnions. I just want to show you the engine bay. I just want to make sure I'm showing you everything, right? But I really like this right here. This valley for, well, to me, it's structural integrity. For the car, it's structural integrity. But for me, it's the place where you drop your tools. You don't have to search for them. You can store your tools right here in this galley right here. Think about it. You store right here. You have to worry about looking on that 10 millimeter or that 3/8 of an inch socket that drops down and you never find it. It's on both sides too, and it's capped. It's capped at both ends. Capped at this end with the grill support, and then up here it goes into the windshield cowl. So now we can do the walk around because this tells me this is going to be a good year. You see a 1973 Matador, a 1969 Fury. This is going to be a very good year, man. Very good year. All right. Look at this. Bench seat. It's got a CB radio in it. Should have a Chrysler 904.
The one you aired up. I even have the can of air that would came with it,
Bench seat in the rear, manual windows. There's the one thing about AMC's. Not one of their cars ever came with power windows. None of them. None of them. They said they didn't want to spend the money to develop a separate regulator and electrical system for switches and everything. So Look at this. It's got the luggage rack on the top, and it's got a luggage rack added to it. I don't know what's in here, but it would be like your extra cargo space.
That's the garbage pail. Garbage pail. So I got that.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Let me show you something. Let me show you folks something here. It's not me. You know, I leave the house without a belt. My pants keep sliding down. Let me just show you something right here. Look at this. Those are American racing equipment, but what they are is they're Kragar SS wheels, but they're copies though. They're not the original Kragar. It's a Kragar copy from American racing equipment. You see that? It's got one in the front too. But I want to show you also down here. Normally, this is where the car would rust out, so there'd be a lot of Bondo. Not a lot of Bondo in this car. Almost none, really.
So you have
know? So, pardon me. Now, I don't even know. Does it have magic tailgate? So we twist that and the window comes down. And then, oh, it's got a key, right? Oh, it's got a crank on it. Okay. So one's by crank. Okay. That's American Motors for you, man. And then it does have magic tailgate. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, all right. Wonderful. Oh, the handle's on the inside, folks. That's where it is. The handle.
That brings it down, and this opens up to the side.
There's your door function handle, and that's your tailgate handle right there. Wonderful, man. I mean, when was the last time you've seen? Oh, there's your storage. Oh, okay. Where's the spare go? On the side? Okay, you have a spare on the side. Stand up there. Look at this, folks. I mean,
the headliner's never been touched.
Yeah, look at the headliner's never been touched. And what did this car retail for? Would you know? Back in '73.
Around $4,500.
$4,500. Okay.
Now you got it for $4,000. And this is the Matador, which is the mid-size car.
Yes.
The full-size Ambassador will be around $5,000.
That's a beautiful car.
That's the Ambassador.
Yes, Ambassador.
That's the Matador is a two-door.
Two-door, right?
And that's it has a four-door.
Yep.
And the wagon.
Yep.
And they had the Hornet, the Javelin, and the Gremlin.
Right. So, does it say the wheelbase on this was what 114, 118?
114.
114. And
the
on this,
was 118.
118. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did they do? Did they stretch? Was it the K-frame in the front, or?
It's all ahead of the windshield.
All right. Because the Ambassador was 118, and this is a very attractive car. I always love these. These are very attractive.
Nice.
You never see one. You never see them anymore.
No.
But the Matadors is the first one I've seen in years.
Yeah.
Years.
I've never. There's a guy in Queens that has the two-door version.
Yes.
He's the president of Queens Club, and there's another guy in his club that got another two-door version from California.
All right. That's what it would be.
I've seen one guy in Connecticut with a two-door 71. I've seen a guy in Jersey with a four-door 72.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a Matador at any other AMC show, car show, local show, anything else.
Right.
Although I did look online at the Station Wagon Club, a lady somewhere near Philadelphia has a 73 wagon without the wood grain.
Oh,
So it
well.
has that chrome strip on the station wagon, on the Matador.
Well, look at that. Even the one in the brochure is the one you got, Grasshopper Green.
This isn't Grasshopper
No, it's not
Green.
Grasshopper, no?
Nope, this is Fairway Green Metallic.
Fairway Green. It was close, though.
That's Grasshopper
That's
Green.
Grasshopper Green.
Which is the guy in Queens, that two-door is that color.
All right.
That's my color.
Fairway Green.
It's a little close, but it's a little different.
It's just impressive, man, to see a station wagon. That was just awesome, man.
Daddy bought it new. That's the only reason it survived. He knows how to take care of cars.
Oh, yeah.
And I got my little piggy bank there in the bag for the Exxon.
Oh, yeah?
And I got that Tiger in my tank if you look at the fuel door on the side.
Oh, right. They used to do that at the gas station. Give you coloring books for the kids.
Yeah.
The shell with the little books with the travel tips.
And if you went to, let's see, SO, which is Exxon, had the Tiger in the tank. If you had Gulf, they would kickstart your engine, give your engine some kick.
Right.
So all their brochures had the little mule with the guy doing the mule kick, and you had two purple horseshoes on the back,
Right.
put together, and that was a magnet that sits in the car. Sinclair was dyno power. They had the
Right, Dino,
dinosaurs.
right. And then
Someone had a Pegasus.
that's mobile.
That was mobile had the
Mobile.
Pegasus. There was also the Flying A, so they had the wings on the A. Everyone had their own little stick, their own gimmick.
Right.
Shell had something. I can't remember what Shell was.
No, Shell had books, and they were like travel books. They would give you travel tips for the kids, but they were like little comic books. That's what they were. You know, I remember those.
I always went to SO.
Yeah, because my mother always had a bunch of those Shell books. You know, so.
Yeah.
But and then Hess had the toys, of course.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. But this is beautiful, man. Oh, look at this! It's got the sunshade on it for the windows, and what we got there.
I'll
Look at
open the
that.
door for you,
All right.
and you can get a look at the dash. I'll even let you sit down in the car. Take a picture sitting down in the car. Have at it.
Look at this. So, guy says, "Okay, family." Let me just put my phone out here. I'm trying to. All right. Okay, family. We're going out to. Well, Ponderosa was a restaurant back then, and so was Howard Johnson. Let's go to Howard Johnson's. Okay.
We've been to Howard Johnson's.
Yeah.
This car has been in drive-in movie theaters in Long Island and New Jersey.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. It smells like that time too. Cars used to smell so good back then. You know. Look at that.
If you want to pay your toll,
All right.
you got a
Yeah.
little toll thing.
All right.
This is the old-fashioned trip meter because it wasn't on the dashboard back then.
Right. You had to write it down with a pen and pad before you had one of these, right?
Yeah.
All right, look at that. So we got a simple, it's got Spartan gauges here. You got your speedo right here. You got your temperature over here, your fuel.
Right.
And what you have, lights, idiot lights?
Idiot lights. There's a brake light
Up
here,
Okay.
and that's the high beam right there.
High beam, okay.
And right here is alternator and oil.
Alternator
There's two
and oil.
lights. That's your right blinker.
Right.
That's your left
That's the
blinker.
left.
AM only radio. FM was an option. I don't have that.
Yeah, okay. 1973 that would be. And then, which is a Saginaw, it's a General Motors style steering
Yes,
column.
it is.
Torque command, which be, a 727?
Yeah, 727 torque light.
727. And what do you got in there? 360?
304.
304.
360 was an option.
Okay.
As well as the 401
Right.
and the
right.
258 straight six.
And look at that. Got your CB radio down here.
There's the box
Yeah.
that Daddy bought from Radio Shack in 1975.
Yeah. That is a beautiful looking unit.
Talk about old school.
Yeah, you know. Look at that, man. This is awesome. Wow. And this is manual steering or power?
It's power steering.
Power steering.
In fact, when we go under the hood, I'll show you what's under the hood.
All right. Look at this. Now, this will be the lock button, right? Lock feature.
lock,
That's
yep.
a lock. It's a door latch release. Okay.
Yep.
Window crank. Well, for the mirror?
That's the remote. Yeah, the remote broke.
All right, Mo. And this is for the vent windows. Smoker's window, they call those.
The vent wing.
Yeah, beautiful. What happens is you drive down the interstate or the highway and the air rams towards the glass, cools the interior, and then you wouldn't have to use the air conditioner if your car didn't have it. But that's beautiful. They should bring that back, but they won't.
What I do, because it is a station wagon, is I have the two vent windows open.
Yeah.
I roll the back window down
Yep.
an inch.
Breeze
I
through.
don't need air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly,
It gets
exactly.
cold in that car.
Exactly.
Sometimes I can close the vent window up. Now, since you were talking about GM, this is a GM power steering pump.
Yep.
I have Saginaw steering, which is the recirculating ball, which is GM.
Yep.
Delco Remy distributor, which is GM.
Sure.
I have Motorcraft starter, which is Ford.
Yeah.
Ford voltage regulator.
Yeah.
Ford air compressor for the air conditioning,
Wow.
and a Ford carburetor
Okay.
with my Chrysler transmission.
Rest. Yep. There you
So
go.
I got Ford, GM, and Chrysler parts on the AMC factory design.
Well, that's what they did. You know, they had to control cost. You know, if I borrow from other people, they've already perfected it. You buy in bulk, keep the price of the car down. You know,
and that's part of what ruined Packard, because Packard wanted to have their own, I forgot if it was a V8 or, no, they wanted their own transmission. So they had to make the Ultramatic instead of buying from other people, and it cost so much that Packard didn't have the money, but they wanted it, they did it, and that kind of bankrupted Packard that they kind of had to merge with Studebaker. And Studebaker couldn't afford to keep them afloat either, so Studebaker just dropped the brand.
See, I got to tell you, I was in a discussion yesterday about Packard and Studebaker, and it just, you know, I mean, to me, I was told that the company is relatively healthy when they merged with Studebaker, but Studebaker had cooked the books. So by the time they figured out that these books were fake, they were already out. The merger was already complete, and they were already obligated to pay Studebaker's debts. Now that they had merged with them, so now they sucked up all their R&D and product development money. So by '58, there was no money for new product. So they went to Lincoln and they wanted to share bodies, but it was like we wouldn't. Ford didn't. You know, our cars are premium. Your cars are great, but then our car would not be premium. So there's like all of that. So they just concentrated on the mass market brand, which was Stude, and then they just cobbled together something and called it a Packard, and then sales just.
See, I heard the opposite, because I heard that Studebaker bought Packard, and Packard wasn't good financial shape until they looked into the books and realized Packard wasn't that good. And Packard in '50 was still a premium car going up against Lincoln, Cadillac, and the Imperial.
Right.
In '51, they went down market going against DeSoto, Hudson, Buick. And they sold more cars, but it was no longer the premium.
Right.
And they were trying to bring it back up, and Studebaker wanted to bring him back up, but Studebaker, which was going up against Dodge and Oldsmobile and Mercury, didn't know how to do the premium cars. And once they saw the books, they just could not do it.
Yeah.
So they do what they could, and they're like, all right, it's too far gone, and we can't.
Yeah, because I was using '57 as that year, because everybody came out with something fresh in '57. The Chryslers were fresh.
Not GM.
Well, no, not GM. Not GM, but
GM panicked.
Yeah.
Because if you look at all the cars in '58, it was a panic.
Right. But I'm almost say '57 exactly, but around '57, because Chrysler had a new lineup. General Motors
Chrysler was 55 and 57.
Yeah, those Harley Earl GMs.
Ford was 55, 57.
Right.
GM was 55 and 58.
58, right.
And even Nash was 55.
Yeah.
And Hudson was new in '55. Well, that was the Nash body.
Right, Nash body, right.
And
those
Packard
are very
was
nice.
55 and 57. But 57 was a Studebaker.
Yeah.
And Studebaker was 53 and 56.
Right. So I also heard that Studebaker, Packard, after they had merged, they were supposed to merge with AMC or Rambler at that time, but the personalities was a clash. Like the guy that ran.
Here's the original deal. George Mason, president of Nash, wanted to merge all four companies.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to Packard. And he said to Packard, we're going to merge. Let's do the merge. And they started doing talks. The guy who was running Packard didn't like the fact that Packard was not going to be senior partner. So he backed out. Somehow during these mergers, Hudson found out about it. So Hudson invited itself to the party. When Packard backed out, Nash said, well, okay, we'll deal with Hudson. George Mason's friend, I forgot his name, but his friend went over to an opening at Studebaker and convinced him to take Studebaker, buy up Packard, and shortly after that, American Motors, which is Nash Hudson, will buy the Studebaker-Packard merger and will become the Big Four. Shortly after these two mergers happened, George Mason all of a sudden had a massive heart attack and died.
Heart attack, oh.
His successor, George Romney, the father to Mitt Romney, George Romney didn't like this idea, and he wanted to make the small cars, the dinosaur killers, if you remember those commercials from the early 60s, to just make the car that was small, economical, and easy to maneuver. So that's what he did until he went to become governor of Michigan. The guy after him, which was George Romney, Roy Abernathy, said, I want to fight the big three on their own terms, which George Romney said you can't do, you'll bankrupt the company. He did it anyway. '67, he got kicked out of office because they couldn't make payroll. And the guy after him, I forgot that guy's name, he managed to refinance something so much and build the credit so much that in 1970, they bought Kaiser Jeep, which was making the Jeep, or Willis Jeep, and AMC started making the Jeep in 1970.
Wasn't Dick Teague, was it?
Huh?
Dick Teague?
No, he was a designer, and he designed this car. He worked for AMC. But he also worked for Packard for a little while.
Yeah.
But I forgot who it was. That. And then Lee Iacocca in the 70s was in charge of Chrysler Corporation. They had the Dodge Ram Charger and the Dodge Power Wagon. That was a really big flash in the pan. It was a fad. Everybody wanted one. So he wanted the best four-wheel drive in the world. And he had his engineers starting in 1980 or 82, sent them out all over the world to find the best four-wheel drive system in the world. Found it at the Toledo, Ohio Willis Overland plant under every Jeep vehicle. So he actually bought AMC to get the patents and the copyrights and the rights to use the four-wheel drive from Willis, because that was the best in the world, and AMC wasn't selling Jeep. So in 1988 was your last AMC. 89 became the Eagle division of Chrysler. Chrysler made the Jeep, and of course by then Power Wagon and the Ram Charger was no longer a fad. But they got Jeep.
No, it was good. It was a good look because the XJ, that was a very popular car. Plus, by the mid '80s, there was nothing left of AMC anyway. I mean, Renault had a major stake. So,
yeah.
And then when that guy got president of Renault got assassinated,
Right.
They had to refocus. That
and that's what happened. Chrysler went to Renault and did a deal to buy out their 45 or 48% share, while they're buying up all the free shares on the free market.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they got about 75 or 80% of AMC stock, they did the hostile takeover.
Yeah,
and that completed.
They got that plant out of it too. That plant in Connecticut, that Brampton plant.
Brampton, Ontario, outside of Toronto. They also got the Kenosha plant. Kenosha was.
Well, that was they already had that one. That was AMC property. I mean, the Brampton plant was brand new. It was a brand new factory.
That was new in 69-ish, 70. Because I've seen a few 73s that were built in Brampton, so it was up and running well by then.
But it's like then Renault. They don't have because you got to be in North America. If you're not in North America, you're just not selling. You're selling cars. You're just not making money doing it.
Yeah.
So they, later on they got either merged with Nissan, which helped them out, I guess. But but this is beautiful. Oh man, jeez. I mean,
she is unrestored.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, but it's good though, man, because you don't see a wagon, so people get an idea what they look like without looking at an image. On Google Photos,
Being unrestored, you can see what it actually looked like without it coming back to build it better or build it new or change anything and do anything to make it more modern. This is as she was.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you don't see survivors, so you can actually see them as they were.
So it's 15-inch tires on there.
14.
14.
14.
Okay.
And those are appliance wheels. I bought those in 1974.
Oh, okay.
Factory. I do have the factory.
Oh, wow. All right. I thought the A was for American racing equipment. Okay.
No, a lot of people get that confused.
Because they're like Kragar knockoffs, sort of like the Kragar
They
SS.
look like Kragar SS. Yeah.
A
lot of people think they are, but they're not.
That's nice, man. I was going to say 14s because 14 would have been stock.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they would have upgraded to 15.
We didn't upgrade.
And I like this right here, this little galley right here.
Yeah.
Because it's like your tool.
As far as I know, AMC's the only one that did that.
But it's good because when you're working on something and then the socket slips off, you gotta fish around for your 3/8 or your 9/16. You got a place right here to store it. You know
why they did that?
No.
AMC didn't have money, and it's a unit body car.
Right.
So this piece, this whole thing, is all AMC's.
All right.
You hang one set of fenders on, and it's the Hornet Gremlin. You put another set of fenders on, it's the Javelin AMX. You put this set of fenders on, it's the Matador Ambassador.
All right.
But you use this piece.
Oh, it's one piece, all right. So structural integrity, and it fits over here, and you just spot weld it right here.
That's your chassis.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
Because it's a unit body.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
and they don't have to make this wider or narrower. They can just use the same thing, the same engine points, the same engine mounts, the same bracket points, and not change anything for the different car lines. They just tack on the fenders for the different widths of the different cars and the different lengths of the different cars.
Wonderful.
AMC needed to save as much money as they could.
And you got the 73. This was federal law for 73,
right.
And then you added these on.
This was a grill guard because
right.
the truck almost backed into the grill, so Daddy bought these from the dealership. this was to make the 5-mile-an-hour
Yeah,
mandate
right.
for 73.
Right.
I do not have that in the back because that wasn't a mandate
74.
until 74.
Right.
So the 74s had this big piece.
Yeah, because Chrysler did the same thing.
Yeah.
They just kept the same front. They just put this big 3-inch, big giant rubber bumper there, hockey puck style.
And it worked pretty much just as well.
Yeah, you know, it was good enough, low cost, you know.
Yeah. And it worked.
All right.
GM had little like shock absorber type things.
Right.
And I think
Ford has those too, right?
Yeah.
They put a little hydraulic bumper supports right behind there. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, thanks, man. Here we have a 1973 AMC Matador station wagon with the wood paneling on the side. A very rare survivor. It's beautiful, man. I mean, 304 V8. You know, what color was green? Was it? It was
fairway green metallic.
Fairway green metallic. Tell me when the last time you guys have seen a 1973 AMC or a Matador station wagon at all. All right. Thanks.